Sorry about that. All right. So President Davis.
Present.
Vice President Alfred.
Present.
Secretary, I'm present. Treasurer Karen Nightingale is excused. Assistant Treasurer Adriana Spain.
Present.
At-large member Laura Saul Edwards.
Present.
At-large member Whitney Kernodle. At-large member Kellen Macbeth. At-large member James Younger.
Present.
Communications Chair Leah Matterall.
Present.
Education Chair Alfred.
Present.
Legal Redress Amy Stitzel, I believe she's excused. Political Action Chair Michael Heminger. And Scholarship Committee Whitney Kernodle. And that concludes the roll.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. We are ready for the minutes. Kathleen, you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So these are the general membership meeting minutes from August 25th, 2025. I'm going to make it a little bigger. The meeting was called to order and President Davis opened us with a prayer at 7:04 p.m. We did the roll call and this was the result. I reviewed the minutes from July's meeting. Ms. Saul Edwards made a motion to accept the minutes. Ms. Stitzel seconded the motion and the motion passed with no nays and one abstention. We had a review of the financial report by Treasurer Nightingale. These were the balances in our operations account, our reserves, and in our scholarship account. Ms. Saul Edwards made a motion to accept the treasurer's report for July, and Ms. Spain seconded the motion, and the motion passed with no nays and no abstentions. There were greetings from elected leaders. President Davis invited community leaders attending the meeting to say a few words of greeting. County Board Member Spain greeted the assembled. He mentioned that he is currently serving as an at-large member of the NAACP Virginia State Conference Executive Committee, and his term will be coming to an end, and it has been a pleasure to serve. He encouraged everyone to watch the issues and what is happening at the NAACP state and national levels, because there is a lot of activity on many fronts. And Mr. Spain indicated that voter outreach is central to our NAACP mission, making sure that people can exercise their right to vote. He also reminded us that this is our moment to be vigilant and be involved. County Board Member Susan Cunningham was recognized, and Commonwealth Attorney Barissa Dagani Tafti said hello to the assembled, and she echoed Mr. Spain's words, and she will continue to hold people accountable for their actions, will continue to uphold the rule of law here in Arlington, and continue to use her voice. The president provided a report. She thanked everyone who helped at the July cookout and was grateful to everyone who came. The food was great. The fellowship was wonderful. And we will make sure that there is advertised an indoor and an outdoor option in case of inclement weather, which we did experience this year. She noted that the state convention is coming up on October 24th through 26th. It's the 90th convention. It will be held in Richmond, and our branch may send up to 6 voting delegates. There were people who volunteered before that and at the meeting, and the people who volunteered to represent our branch are President Davis, the Honorable J.D. Spain Sr., Judith Knight, and me. Ms. Saul Edwards made a motion to select these 4 to represent the branch at the state conference. Ms. Nightingale seconded, and the motion passed. President Davis mentioned that we are seeking sponsorships for our upcoming Freedom Fund banquet on October 4th, and she encouraged everyone to attend. She reminded us that we're living in challenging times, witnessing inequity, systemic racism, and voter suppression, challenges that continue to persist. and that it is our sacred duty to rise in this moment together. I also quoted many other things she said, which I found very inspiring. So they are also here in the minutes. She asked that everyone remain active members and asked that everyone connect with a committee that interests you, because the work of our branch is actually done in the committees where we collectively work to bring about change. President Davis invited committee chairs to present reports. Legal Redress Chair Amy Stitzel mentioned that there is an expungement clinic being held on October 4th at the Arlington Presbyterian Church on Columbia Pike. Our branch is a partner in these expungement clinics, which remove criminal charges that were dismissed, so they no longer appear on a public record. Commonwealth Attorney Ms. Dagani Tafty and her staff, in collaboration with volunteer attorneys, in coordination with the clerk of the court's office and the sheriff's office, run these expungement clinics. Sheriff Stitzel had reached out to a community group that was formed to advise the sheriff's office and to provide recommendations. And on October 23rd, there will be a forum on preventing arrests for poverty crimes here in Arlington, providing help, not handcuffs. Please check your email for times and locations. And I think we'll put one in the chat during this meeting. There was an update from membership. I spoke on behalf of membership, thanked everyone who volunteered at our NAACP table during the county fair on August 13th through the 15th. We were going to hold our final summer social event at the Black Heritage Museum, and Dr. Scott Taylor was scheduled to talk to us about the Memorializing the Enslaved in Arlington project. And if you ever have questions about your membership, please write to the secretary directly, and I can assist you. Education Committee Chair Tia Alford reported that kids started back at school on the day of that meeting, and the committee will continue to work with APS, administration, teachers and staff, and families to ensure equity and education for all. There was a report on the Freedom Fund banquet, and Special Event Chair Nightingale reported that the banquet planning is going very well. It's again at GMU's Arlington campus. It's on October 4th. And she has a robust committee that's been assisting this year. She did ask everyone to reach out to any business that you frequent, the cleaners, the doctors, your favorite restaurant, and ask if they would make a donation to sponsor the banquet. We expect to sell out this year, so she encouraged people to purchase tickets soon. And award deadlines for nominating people for awards were extended to Friday. That should say August 29th. I've been having a problem with August and September this year. Okay. As we do every year, we're going to recognize people in our community who are doing outstanding work. The Housing, Political Action, and Communications Committee did not have reports during that month. And in closing, President Davis thanked everyone for the work and their work supporting the branch. And she closed with a prayer. The meeting was adjourned at 7:50 p.m. And those are the minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. We have heard the minutes this evening. What is our pleasure?
I'd like to move to accept the minutes, please.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Are we ready for the question? All those who are in favor, be it known by saying aye or raising your virtual hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed have the same right. Would anyone wish to abstain this evening? The ayes have it. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for very thorough notes so that we can recall, and in the future, people will be able to look back and feel like they were actually here with us during these times. Prior to this, I should have asked that we had a vote to suspend the rules. As we know, this evening we are having a presentation on From Barrier to Ballots, the anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and we want to hear this evening from Jennifer Odlum. Before we do so and continue this meeting, I'd like to suspend the rules for our normal time that the one that will do that this evening.
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules.
I second that.
And properly moved in second. Are we ready for the question? All those who are in favor, be it known by saying aye or raising your virtual hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All those who are opposed have the same right. Are there any abstaining tonight? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right, this evening we are moving on to our financial report. Our Assistant Treasurer, Mrs. Spain, is here to lead us in that.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the financial report for August for the branch. So in our operations account, we had a beginning balance of $5,579. Kathleen, can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. There we go.
$5,573.24 was our beginning balance. We had deposits or transfers in of $3,668.15, and withdrawals or expenses totaling $7,382.86. Our ending balance is $1,858.53. That is for our operations account. For our reserves account, there was no change. And for our scholarships account, there was no change. That is the financial report for the branch.
Thank you. We've heard the report this evening. What is our pleasure?
I'll move that we accept the financial report as presented, subject to audit.
I'd like to second that, please.
Been properly moved and second. Are we ready for the question? All those who are in favor, be it known by saying aye or raising your virtual hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed have the same right. Is there anyone who chooses to abstain this evening? The ayes have it. And we thank our treasurer and assistant treasurer for the diligent work that they do all month long to make sure that our branch is in a good place financially as well. Our presenter this evening to share with us in reference to National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month is unable to be with us. Unfortunately, Diane's mom passed away early this morning, but she did recommend a video for us to share at this time. So I do want to share that, and we do plan to have her to come back to be with us as a branch.
Suicide is a leading cause of preventable death in the United States. Knowing the warning signs for suicide and how to get help can save lives. Here are 5 steps you can take to be the one to help someone in emotional pain. Step 1. Ask. Are you thinking about killing yourself? It's not an easy question, but studies show that asking at-risk individuals if they're suicidal does not increase suicides or suicidal thoughts. Step 2. Keep them safe. Reducing a suicidal person's access to highly lethal items or places is an important part of suicide prevention. Step 3. Be there. Listen carefully and learn what the individual is thinking and feeling. Research suggests acknowledging and talking about suicide may in fact reduce rather than increase suicidal thoughts. Step 4. Help them connect. Save the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number 988 in your phone, so it's there if you need it. You can also help make a connection with a trusted individual like a family member, friend, spiritual advisor, or mental health professional. Step 5. Stay connected. Staying in touch after a crisis or after being discharged from care can make a difference. Studies have shown the number of suicide deaths goes down when someone follows up with the at-risk person. More information on suicide prevention can be found on the National Institute of Mental Health website.
I'd like for us to take a moment to remember those who have transitioned, especially those who have been near and dear to us. I'd like us to take a moment of silent prayer to pray for those, especially those who are connected to us, who may be thinking about ending their own lives, asking for ways that we can be there to support. In God's holy name, amen. We do want to hear from a few of our committees tonight before our final presentation for the evening. So I'm going to ask first the committee that we've been waiting for, if we could hear now from our Freedom Fund Banquet Committee.
Hello, everyone. Our Freedom Fund banquet is on track, but I did have an announcement that there will be a parking QR code provided, and it's imperative that you enter your tag information so that you won't get a bill. We're working all the kinks out of it. The GMU implemented a new system recently, so they hadn't gotten all the answers yet. So we just wanted to make sure to note that everyone gets the QR code when you come into the registration area, and make sure that you enter your tag information. Other than that, I believe our tickets are sold, table and general admission, and otherwise we're on track for everything to be a smooth event. Thank you.
Thank you. And if anyone has questions, please feel free to send an email to our special events email, and one of the committee members will get back to you. We are looking forward to seeing everybody for our Freedom Fund Banquet on October the 4th at 7 p.m. that evening. It's going to be a delightful evening. If you did not get your ticket already, please hurry up. Click the link that's in the chat right now. Make sure that you get your ticket, get a ticket for friends, family, and neighbors as well, so that we can all join together in this fight for justice.
And
Remember,
also note the VIP section starts at 6 p.m.
right, our membership committee tonight.
Hello again. So I'm reporting for membership. We had a wonderful gathering last Thursday, September 18th, at the Black Heritage Museum of Arlington. And Dr. Scott Taylor did a presentation for us and answered questions for us about the Memorializing the Enslaved in Arlington project. That is a joint partnership between the Black Heritage Museum and the Arlington Historical Museum. And there were a number of people came. It was a fabulous gathering, a lot of really great information, a lot of good exchanges of questions and answers, and they asked everything from information about the presentation to a lot of the recent letters the NAACP has actually sent out to the county recently, and a lot of talk about different issues in our community. So it was a wonderful evening. We had some first-time members actually come, and some people also renewed their membership at the meeting. So thank you to everyone who came. It didn't even break up until maybe an hour or two after it was supposed to have. So everybody was having such a good time. Our next event is obviously our October 4th Freedom Fund banquet. So I'll hope to see everybody there. And then after that, we'll be announcing our holiday get together as well in December. And that's what I have for membership.
Thank you so very much. Communication.
Communications is busy like almost everyone else with the Freedom Fund Banquet, which is our biggest event of the year. I hope to see a lot of you getting your tickets this week. Just want to note that there will be no tickets sold at the door, if that hasn't already been mentioned.
Sure.
You don't want to be disappointed and come in person and not be able to attend. Sponsorships end this Wednesday, so I invite everyone who wants to become a sponsor. You can also buy a half-page journal ad very inexpensively. You can become a patron of the event for just $30 and have your name mentioned in the journal. So it's all things Freedom Fund this month. We have a lot of very good events coming up later in October, and I'll be sending emails out about that. If you're not on our email list, you can join by just visiting our website and clicking the button at the top of the page to join the list and get information about these and all the other events that our branch puts on throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you, and for all of the work that you continue to do to represent us all. This evening, we are delighted to have with us Jennifer Odlum from the Arlington Public Library. She's going to share with us about the project From Barriers to Ballots, the anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. We're so delighted to have her. She's going to present, and then we will have a space where we can ask questions thereafter. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say before I start that I am at the library and I'm going to mute myself if our evening announcements come over the loudspeaker because it's very loud where I speak, where I'm sitting rather. So thank you so much for inviting me. I am Jennifer Odlum, a Programs and Partnerships Librarian at Arlington Public Library. And as President Davis said, I'm here to talk about the library's exhibit From Barriers to Ballots, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and our surrounding programs. Thank you to President Davis for your partnership on this important project. And first of all, I want to be clear that I am not an historian or a voting rights expert. I'm here just as a librarian, so I'm happy to share some background about the Voting Rights Act and our library exhibit.
The library will be closing in less than 30 minutes. Arlington.
While the announcements are happening, we can all gather together our good questions that we can ask Jennifer at the end of the presentation.
Okay, thank you for your patience with that. I knew it was coming. As you probably know, August 6th marked the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which some consider to be the crowning achievement of the civil rights movement. It was a milestone in the long struggle to extend political representation and voting rights to Black Americans. And the Voting Rights Act was signed into law on August 6, 1965 by President Lyndon Johnson, and it outlawed the discriminatory voting practices adopted in many Southern states after the Civil War, including literacy tests as a prerequisite to voting. The Voting Rights Act essentially enforced the 15th Amendment, which was ratified all the way back in 1870. But in those ensuing 95 years, African Americans in the South faced tremendous obstacles to voting, including poll taxes, literacy tests, and other bureaucratic restrictions that essentially denied them the right to vote. So they also risked harassment, intimidation, economic repercussions, and physical violence when they tried to register or to vote. And as a result, African-American voter registration was limited, and along with obviously political power. So the Voting Rights Act was a step forward in the long struggle to equalize civil rights. And to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, Arlington Public Library partnered with several community organizations to tell the stories of our local activists, change makers, and everyday people in Arlington and Northern Virginia who fought for voting rights. And the exhibit is called From Barriers to Ballots. Some of our exhibit partners include the Charlie Clark Center for Local History, which is part of Arlington Public Library, Arlington Historical Society, the Black Heritage Museum of Arlington, the League of Women Voters of Arlington and Alexandria City, and the NAACP Arlington branch. Thank you all very much for that. Funding for From Barriers to Ballots was generously provided by our friends of Arlington Library, otherwise known as FOL. And the voting rights exhibit honors the community organizers, as I mentioned, activists and everyday people who lived, and some are still living, and who dared to speak out and take action. So this exhibit specifically features stories from Annie E. Harper, who came from the historic Black community of Gum Springs, Virginia, activist Portia Haskins, who came from Halls Hill, which, as you know is now Highview Park, the late and well-known John Robinson, former Green Valley resident and community organizer, and suffragist and silent sentinel Gertrude Lind Crocker. And I'm going to say a little bit more about Portia Haskins' efforts, which are, to me, so impressive and bold. In 1965, Portia Haskins filed suit against the Virginia Board of Elections and the Arlington County General Registrar after learning she was required to re-register in order to vote in the upcoming election, even though she had already paid her poll taxes the prior February and had registered for federal elections the previous year. So on April 1st, 1966, in the case Portia A. Haskins v. Levin Knox Davis et al., a federal district court ruled in Haskins' favor, arguing that, quote, the provisions of Virginia's dual voter registration, which treats persons who are registered only for federal elections differently from persons registered for all elections, violate the equal protection laws of the 14th Amendment. And this landmark decision this landmark decision eliminated what was essentially a selectively administered and enforced poll tax imposed chiefly on African-American voters in Arlington County. So their work and their efforts impacted positively local communities in Northern Virginia and had vast implications for voting rights on the national level. So our exhibit at the library will be up through November 4th. You can see the exhibit at Central Library in the lobby. You can't miss it. And you can take a sample literacy test there to experience how indeed tricky it was. You can see an old voting box up close, and you can engage in other engagement activities connected to the exhibit. There's also a smaller exhibit on display at the Bosman Government Center at Courthouse in the lobby along the walls. And so I welcome any or all of you, please, to come and learn a little bit more, come up close and in person with our exhibit and engage with some of our additional elements, and just really see how impactful these important Arlington residents were to the future of voting rights. Additionally, surrounding this exhibit, we've hosted and are hosting some additional programs. So under the umbrella of From Barriers to Ballots, we hosted the opening reception on August 6th, at which President Davis was one of our speakers. I'm going to drop in the chat, if you weren't able to join us there, you can follow this link to see President Davis's remarks, which were very powerful. You were a great end cap to the list of speakers and ended on a very powerful note. So we were grateful that you could join us for that. Last week, we partnered with the League of Women Voters on a panel discussion about the change in voting rights in Arlington since 1965. We had journalist Michael Pope, who spoke about the history of voting rights in Virginia. General Registrar Gretchen Reinemeyer spoke about the rights of voters today. And then we had Edwin Henderson, who is the founder of the Tinner Hill Heritage Foundation in Falls Church, who spoke about the barriers he and his family faced when voting. So he brought real color to the panel discussion. And Octavia Caldwell from Shiloh Baptist Church in Alexandria, who talked about her efforts to engage and register Black voters. And this program from last week was recorded, and it will soon be available on the county YouTube channel, so you can see it yourselves once it is up and available. And then coming up on Saturday, October 11th, the Black Heritage Museum of Arlington will, and Dr. Scott Taylor will provide an introduction to the work of Portia Haskins. So it's an opportunity to learn a lot more about her than the couple of sentences I shared about her. And then I just wanted to share a few other programs at the library in the area of civics. We are happy to be hosting a number of Open Door Mondays, at which time you can drop in and engage directly with county board members. So we have a number of them coming up in September and October and November at Glen Carlin Library, Central Library, and Shirlington Library. And this is just a great opportunity I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It's a great opportunity to engage directly with the county board. We have a pilot program called Civil Conversation taking place in October, at which location people can engage in a structured small group discussion on a challenging topic. October's topic will be immigration. And the point of the program is to learn to rise above differences of opinion while promoting understanding and connection. So the point of the program is not to change the minds of anybody that you are talking with, but really to come to understand how somebody else came to their opinions, to become or remember how to be an active listener and to respect the places that people are coming from and their experiences. And then I want to remind people or share with you, if you didn't already know, that the Charlie Clark Center for Local History, whose primary location is at Central Library, has an ongoing program to capture the history and memories of Arlington residents through oral history interviews. And they also collect memorabilia from local organizations such as NAACP, and families and individuals that help tell the story of Arlington. So if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to them. But that's a great way to share your own histories and make sure that we as Arlingtonians overall continue to understand our past and know our past. And then we have all the other things that you would traditionally expect to find at the library, but they bear repeating. We have book clubs, craft programs, a creative maker space at Central Library that I highly recommend you visit and check out if you haven't already. Free meeting and study spaces, and so much more. So our programs are designed to create connections in the community across interest areas and across social groups to connect with people over shared interests with people from all walks of life. So keep us in mind when you've got free time on an evening or weekend or daytime. We have a lot of things going on all days of the week and all days of the year. And then I just want to end by saying that we welcome suggestions for programs from the community. So you are always welcome to contact us and share any suggestions or ideas you've got or things you would like to see at the library. And I'm sharing that email with you now too. So you are welcome to reach out to the library via that email and let us know your thoughts. And then I just want to say thank you very much for inviting me this evening. I'm happy to be here.
We are overjoyed to have you with us this evening. Are there any questions this evening from anyone You can place them in the chat or you can unmute.
I see a hand. Kathleen?
Yes, hi. I had a question for you.
Yes.
You may have touched on this at the very beginning, but a lot of libraries bring in exhibitions sometimes, but this one seemed to be homegrown.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to hear a little bit more about who, provided a lot of the scholarship and sort of how it all came together. I know it was the anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, but how did it come together, and then who spearheaded it?
That's a great question. And I'm going to first another link. Sorry to bombard you with links, but there is so much to share from the library. The last link I shared, the exhibition From Barriers to Ballots, is essentially like an abbreviated digital exhibit of the actual live exhibit, and it does give a little bit more information about the genesis of it. I think to be perfectly honest, I was not part of the planning committee for this, so I'm not sure who initiated the first conversations about this, but we do definitely like to be commemorating important anniversaries, and we are very lucky to have the person who I think was your first choice for a guest this evening, Henrik Sundqvist, who is on our communications team. And he is a naturalized citizen himself and took a special interest in this topic. So he played a large role, and he is also one of the people who plays a huge role. Oh, I'm going to mute myself for one moment. Okay, thank you for your patience. I don't think we'll be interrupted again while I'm speaking anyway. I don't know exactly how the initial conversations took place, but we had a number of interns working for our Center for Local History and for our communications team who played a large role. Unfortunately, both of their internships ended, and so neither of them is with the library at this time, but they played a really big role in collecting a lot of the research and some of the supporting oral histories. And Henrik Sundqvist put together the visual displays that you'll see on the panels and that you can see in the link that I shared. We also, oh, I think I shared the wrong link. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay, I didn't. So you can see the other partners listed, but we got a lot of information from let's see, from participating individuals. We had contributions from the Department of Voter Registration and Elections, from a number of local churches, even from the Norman Rockwell Museum and the Virginia Museum of Fine Art, to collect the artifacts and photographs that were used. And then there were extensive conversations with members of the community who played big roles, and who have a deeper knowledge than we do. So it was a very, very community-oriented and group effort to put this exhibit on. I hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you very much.
A question from Leah.
Well, I think my question was very similar to Kathleen's, but I want to speak up for visiting the exhibit in person. I found it very accessible, very moving. It had a lot of detail, but you could also see it in 5 minutes. If you were walking through with a 3-year-old, I felt like you could still get something out of it, but you could also spend an hour there looking and reading all the different things. I appreciated the stories from local people here in Arlington. It made it an Arlington story, not just a long time ago federal legislation story. So I just wanted to share that. And then someone in the chat wanted to know about the event. Did you
I
share
shared the
the
link.
October? Okay.
Yeah, so Leah,
Thank you.
thank you for sharing your impressions. I agree with you that it is very powerful. You can follow a link to take an example literacy test and see how tricky some of those questions were. You can engage directly with the voting box and see up close what that looked like, as well as reading the stories at length. And yes, I shared the link for that October 11th event, and it is 2 o'clock, and you do not need to register in advance. And we hope to see you there.
Thank you. Are there any other questions tonight or comments before we close this segment? Again, Jennifer, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Even though there were some announcements behind you, it was very meaningful for us all, and we are just grateful that the library continues to work in this area and that you came to enlighten us all the more. I hope that many of our branch members and friends will come out and be a part of the events, as well as to see the exhibit that is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you for your partnership.
Looks like we have more thanks also in the chat tonight. All right, well, I thank everyone again for being here tonight and for your dedication to the mission of the NAACP. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to take the next step, and that's to sign up for a committee, attend our Freedom Fund banquet on October 4th, and to continue pressing forward in the fight for justice. Because together we are stronger, and together we can move mountains, even mountains of injustice. As we look ahead, I also want to remind you that our October meeting will be held on October 27th at 7 p.m. It's going to be a special time of education for our community as we learn more about ranked choice voting. And I urge every member to be present so that we can understand and engage in this important process. Please also remember to vote in our upcoming elections here in Arlington. A vote is like a prayer. It carries our hope, our values, and our vision for a better tomorrow. And when we show up at the ballot box, we are lifting our voices for justice. As the late Congressman John Lewis reminded us, democracy is not a state, it's an act, and each generation must do its part. And so I say to you tonight as we close, let us continue to do our part boldly, courageously, and faithfully. Thank you for being here tonight. If you have any other questions or comments, Kathleen and I will stay behind after the meeting, but everyone is now dismissed. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.